Welcome to the Motivational Midwife. I'm Lynn Jones, and today we have a podcast with Denise Cohen looking at mindfulness. Right, so hi Denise, and thanks very much for agreeing to join me and talk a bit about mindfulness and what it is and what it isn't and how it can help in midwifery. So I'll hand the baton over to you.
So mindfulness is about being present, being in the present moment, just letting each moment unfold as it is. It's not about emptying your mind. It encompasses lots of things. There are specific meditation exercises like the focusing on the breath and the body and doing a body scan, and even mindfulness of movement can help or help rewire the brain. It has so many gifts. It means that you're actively present when someone's talking to you. I'm sure we've all been in a conversation where you talk to someone and you know they're distracted, so they're not really listening to you. So if you're really present, you're with them. You're with them by their side, listening to them. And it's also about self-compassion. It's about viewing your thoughts differently, and creating a little bit of distance with your thoughts, because your thoughts may not be true, they may be partially true, or they may actually be true, if that makes sense. And it's recognizing factors that are contributing to stress. Like we all have the inner critic, don't we? I could have done better, I should have done this, I should have done that. Well, actually, it may not be true, and that can be a symptom of stress, if that makes sense. So it gives you that tool to recognise, yes, I'm under stress. Let's meditate a bit more, or let's manage our stress differently to either help quieten the mind, quieten that inner critic, or just be aware of what's going on in your mind, if that makes sense.
It does. What would you say to people who, because we use, I know you have been both a midwife and a mindfulness practitioner for many, many years, and you use meditation as do I. What would you say to people that really are quite sort of not scared of meditation, but really just don't understand it, don't really get it, what it is?
So I would just say, give it a practice. Either join a group that practices mindfulness meditation, or there's plenty of meditation exercises on YouTube, for instance. The basis of my training comes from the Mark Williams book, Finding Peace in a Frantic World, and all of his meditations are on YouTube, like the mindfulness of the body and the breath and the body and the body scan. And really, what it is, it's nothing really to be frightened of. All you're doing is reconnecting with your body. So we spend quite a lot of time in our head and not in our body. So we're unaware of what's going on in our body. So a thought would create an emotion, which would create a sensation in our body. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yes.
So if you're in stress mode all the time, several things happen. You're in the flight mode all the time. The part of the brain, the amygdala, grows, so that perpetuates the stress, if that makes sense. So with mindfulness exercises, it's been proven on MRI scans that can actually shrink, become smaller, so your stress is a lot less. And with regular mindfulness exercises, it can thicken the pre-cortex of the brain, so it help improve memory, creativity, learning, and also affects growth in the other parts of the brain, like the hippocampus. So it's really, really beneficial it really is healthy mind, healthy body, and it's about that regular checking in with your body, you know, coming home to your body. I'm sure we've heard that said before. And when you're living in your body, you're more grounded, you're more centered, you're more calm. So you may take, for instance, COVID. I did some freelance work for an NHS trust to give them mindfulness taster sessions. So the benefits of that is, you know, I taught short grounding meditation exercises, you know, and you can use that prior to putting on PPE, not during the procedure, but prior. And also just prior to going home, a short meditation exercise to ground you so you're ready for that journey home. Does that make sense?
It does. And I think people very often think that meditation should be you sitting cross-legged on the floor, when actually it's so much more than that. And you can be meditating really while you're walking. Is that about being present, isn't it?
Yes, so you can do the on business if you want. I don't sit on the floor and go om. Sometimes I do, but not very often. It's about checking in with your body. That's what you're really doing, and you're noticing. You're not trying to change anything. So there's sort of a level of acceptance of who you are with mindfulness and meditation. You're accepting you for who you are. You know, the body sensations. You're not trying to change anything, but you're more aware of what's going on in your body as well. And as I say, it has numerous benefits about maintaining a healthy body, healthy mind. And it's that mind body connection that quite a lot of people miss. And the other thing is, from an employer point of view, you know, quite a lot of the time in our waking time, we're distracted. So if we do practice mindfulness, it's a win-win both for the employee and employer. The employer gets more productivity. So midwifery, I'm not saying that it will increase safety, but one would think if you're more present, you're more with the woman, so you can give compassionate care, and you're more aware of what's going on instead of being distracted all the time. And you can tune into your intuition as well. It really is being with woman, being mindful.
Absolutely. I mean, I find particularly in a sort of busy delivery suite environment, there are so many distractions now with a lot of the technology and bells going and tannoys going. It can be quite a challenge to really create an environment that you are truly with woman.
Yeah, it can, but for me, I've meditated for about 14, 15 years now. I've done guided meditation plus focusing on the breath as well. And I think I've got that spatial awareness when, for instance, I'm on labeled. I don't know, I can't explain it apart from saying I'm really in the zone. I just have that knowing of what's going on, not only in my own room, but have that awareness of what's going on the labor ward, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I know you've alluded to the fact that you did do some freelance NHS work because you have your own mindfulness business as well, and I will put the link in the comment section below for anyone who's interested in maybe getting in touch with you and finding out a little bit more. But what was the feedback like from the staff? Because it was quite a new thing to try, wasn't it, at that particular trust?
It was, and it was 100% positive feedback. And even with people that were skeptical, I took them through a couple of little exercises. I talk about what mindfulness is, how it's useful, and in a grounded way, and just talk them through a couple of little exercises. I just taught them through a 3-step breathing space. So that's sort of checking in with your thoughts, checking in with your emotions, linked to the body sensations, and then narrowing the spotlight of the attention onto the breath, and then widening the spotlight of the attention to your surroundings. So that's quite an easy one. And what it does is it just makes them be present for a short period of time. And if you are present, even for a short period of time, you do feel a lot calmer, you do feel in the moment. I mean, there's that we've all read quotes on Facebook, but some of them are actually true in the sense, you can't change your past, so why dwell on the past? And you don't know really what's going to happen in the future. So worrying about what isn't in your control really gets you nowhere apart from more worry and more stress.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
So it's about viewing things differently, and it also is about taking a step back. I sort of find that if I'm in conflict with someone, I'll meditate on it and just take a step back. And ideally, it's not about I'm right and they're wrong. It's about a win-win for both people. And also it's about moving on. So if you come from the same viewpoint that got you into the conflict in the first place, you're never going to resolve it. So it's take a step back and see what you can do to move on, because you may not resolve everything, but you can have that thinking capacity, right? We have to agree to disagree, but let's move on together.
Yeah. Did you, and I know you've done some sessions at a hospice, did you find that very different to doing the sessions in the NHS?
Yeah, I ran a group course for the hospice, and that was personally challenging for me because I did it on Zoom. I had the chaplain and a volunteer helping me, and they were really fantastic. So there were the computer challenges, but actually I do think you can make that connection even with people on Zoom and Teams, whatever medium you use. And it was quite humbling, but also quite rewarding, because we actually got very positive feedback. And I may be doing some more work with the hospice with mindfulness. I'm in talks with them at the moment. And in the feedback, some of the participants wanted regular ongoing sessions. So,
which is great, because they obviously found it very beneficial.
Yeah, and there was I ran a 6-week course, and it leads up to week 5, approaching difficulty, and I didn't know how that would land with hospice day patients, but actually it was okay. And I suppose it gave me a lot of confidence to realize that mindfulness has a place for everyone everywhere. It's just being open to trying it, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. So I think, for our students and prospective students, it's definitely something I would certainly advocate that they look into, because I like you, feel quite strongly that it would help them really keep focused throughout their studies, because as I do, midwifery is not an easy course to do. And it's very much a roller coaster of highs and lows for the 3-year training that they're doing. So I think it's nice and beneficial to have something like mindfulness to actually keep them rooted and focused.
I think it would help them a great deal. I mean, one of the byproducts is that it builds resilience, but I believe resilience is built by self-compassion and compassion for others, and likewise being surrounded by compassionate people. I sort of don't believe that you have to build walls or be hard or anything like that. It's about self-compassion, compassion to others, and surrounding yourself with like-minded people. That's how you build resilience.
I would agree. Right, thanks ever so much, Denise. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will leave the details of the book you mentioned in the comments section below as well.
Lovely. Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks then.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
And there you have it, mindfulness. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I hope you found it beneficial. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. I look forward to seeing you next time.